and welcome to the Art to Part podcast, where we dive into the world of manufacturing, engineering, and innovation. I'm your host, Ann Didier, and today I'm sitting down with a very special guest, Jeff Setzer, who is our technology evangelist here at GSC. Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Ann. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So can you just go into a little bit about what it means to be the technology evangelist here at GSC?
Well, I started 33 years ago, so technology has changed quite a lot,
Yeah.
both for design and simulation and manufacturing. And when I started out, 3D printing was sort of like a rumor more than an actual thing. And so over the years, I've become well versed in a variety of technologies, and as they've evolved, I've evolved as well. And I do have some specialties. I've been using SOLIDWORks for 30 years. That's the thing.
You've been
the whole time
there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'm not like, a PDM person as much, or a sim person as much, or a 3D printing person, but I have been immersed in it and with our customers, over these 30 something years. So I kind of know some things about everything.
Yeah.
And also one of the things I like to do is kind of put things together. So if I'm working with somebody in one discipline and I see an opportunity for them to improve with something that I'm aware of but not an expert in, then I like to be able to put those things together,
For sure.
those people together.
Yeah, you're kind of like our MVP here at GSC, and we saw that a little bit at 3DEXPERIENCE World when you were interviewed by a woman at Dassault, is that right?
Yeah.
For SolidWorks 30th anniversary. She brought a cake up to you.
Oh, yes.
Because she learned that you have been with SolidWorks and GSC from the beginning. So how was that? How did that go down?
Well, they it was arranged a little bit ahead of time.
Okay.
So I got an email with the title of, "Are you the oldest SolidWorks user?" And I thought, well, I know there's people that are physically older than me using SolidWorks.
Oh, no.
However, I have been using SolidWorks since the very, very, very beginning.
Yeah.
So and I've been using it continuously the entire time, so 30 plus years. So yeah, I said, and here's my background and whatnot. And they said, we'd like to do a thing at World. So, and it was kind of extemporaneous. They told me when to kind of be there. They kind of like, hey, come down the path, and we'll run into you, or you'll run into us. But other than that, it was just extemporaneous. He kind of told me that they're going to ask me about how long I've been using SolidWorks, and they're going to ask me to prove that I know SolidWorks. But they didn't tell me any more than that. And so that's what we did. And yeah, they had me sit at their from a museum. There's actually a museum in the Boston area.
Wow.
That there's a little name card on on that old desk there where they had the computer and the monitor and all that stuff. They had an ashtray to make it authentic in the early 90s.
Very retro.
Yeah, and they had SolidWorks 95 there, and they just had me do some stuff. Of course, my brother John, my twin brother John, our training director, has been teaching SolidWorks for 30 years, nonstop. John's, as you know, because you probably hardly ever see him, he's always teaching. He's been doing that for 30 years for SolidWorks.
Yeah.
So, between him and I, we have 60 years of SolidWorks experience.
It's crazy.
But that also means that it's a mathematical certainty that my brother John has taught more people in SolidWorks than any other human being ever.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing nothing but teaching classes this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you guys are kind of like a power duo, dynamic duo. It's really cool.
We've been around a long time. So, yes. And it's unfortunate he couldn't be there this year. Of course, he was teaching. But there might be something down the road that you see with both of us.
Okay.
Kind of this year. Technically speaking, SolidWorks' birthday is in November, which happens to be John's and my birthday as well. Not the exact same day. They're just kind of saying it's November 1st. We're the 7th, but yeah. So
close enough.
Knowing that, there will be some other 30 anniversary, 30 years birthday kind of thing.
Wow. So more to come. That's very exciting. Major foreshadowing. Love it. Let's get into, what were your takeaways from 3DEXPERIENCE World?
So I've been using SolidWorks forever, and I've been working literally thousands of customers the entire time. And I can tell you that probably 10 years ago or so, when 3D Experience platform started coming asserted and whatnot, there was some concern about the direction and the sort of focus, right? Okay, they changed the name of SOLIDWORKS World to 3D Experience World and things like that. And it's sort of like, people were just a little concerned that, they might, because Dassault is a huge company. SOLIDWORKS has millions of users, but Dassault is much bigger. And so, this year there's a new CEO of Dassault.
Okay.
His name is Pascal, and he made a statement on stage. And the statement was, red is red. So I didn't wear my hat today, but at World, I was wearing my 30-year-old hat, which had the SOLIDWORKS square, the original logo and whatnot. But yeah, so that's where that came from. That's why the backpacks this year were red. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like a return to that sort of thing. Okay. Like we're part of the overall Dassault Systems family, and we work with the platform, and we leverage the platform and the tools on the platform, especially for simulation, manufacturing, that kind of thing. But we are still SOLIDWORKS. And I thought that statement was a pretty powerful one, and it was repeated in different ways throughout the conference.
And Cody had mentioned that in our last podcast episode, so it's cool to see like that truly was a huge topic at Worlds, and mm-hmm. something that's really important. Focus on that. Red is red. It's coming back.
And as part of that, people have talked about naming things, product names, and that kind of thing. Simplification. Mm-hmm. There's SOLIDWORKS, and then for the cloud-based design, it's X Design. Okay. So SOLIDWORKS, X Design. For SOLIDWORKS simulation, it's SOLIDWORKS simulation. Whether it's desktop, whether it's platform Simulia, it's SOLIDWORKS simulation. It's part of that portfolio, instead of other brands and other things, because the whole idea is that SOLIDWORKS works with those seamlessly. So when it came to naming things and packaging things, there was a lot of different names, different mm-hmm. product names, different things that we had to work with customers on, and make sure there's no confusion.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, everything, we're going to go back to basics, simplify what we call things, simplify how we package things, how we sell and support things, and red is red.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So on top of that, I know the name solidification, that was a huge conversation at Worlds. Was there anything else that you found to be a big topic?
In 2025, you can't have a tech conference without having AI. Yes. That's the thing. Yep. So, they showed some things that actually came out, they're already out in SOLIDWORKS in 2025, FD01, the automatic drawing generation from a model. It's not AI powered really yet. It's more of an automation. Like we're using, from a technical standpoint, drawing templates that have predefined views, your default, BOM templates and things like that. But it is, taking an assembly with an assembly in 3 parts, for example, and saying, make drawings of the assembly in 3 parts. So it's going to make 4 drawings automatically and lay them out. And of course, you're going to go in there and add things and tweak them, but it starts that out. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, AI can really come into play to go a lot further than just that bit of automation. But that was sort of like a entry-level kind of glimpse in what AI could be applied to in the design space. Not so much design itself, but what do the engineers and designers do? They design things, they want to work in 3D, they want to create things. Then it's like, okay, now I have to make the drawings, and that's tedious, and that's a lot of work. So can we automate the tedium? Well, this is what we're talking about. Now, in the short term, for actually what one would consider a generative AI kind of scenario, there is something called Aura.
Yeah.
And Aura is, right now, it's being tested internally with Dassault. Resellers will be having access to it later on this year. And you can think of it like a kind of a chat GPT, but SOLIDWORKS knowledge centric. So it's like, hey, if I want to automate drawing creation, what are some tools available to me now in SOLIDWORKS today? You could generate a inquiry, and it's right inside of the task pane inside of SOLIDWORKS, so you can go and do that. So the difference is because all AIs need to be trained with something, right? That's why there's so many um, editor or image creation tools out there that can make any cat you want, because the internet has tons of pictures of cats they can generate, train on. So internally, Dassault has lots of knowledge base information, white paper articles, help files, things like that. Sifting through all that can be difficult. So that's what Aura is it's basically an AI to help you get answers extracted from that.
Mm-hmm.
So as a SOLIDWORKS user, what Aura is going to help you do is, instead of looking in forums, instead of looking in the KB, the knowledge base, and in different places, it's going to be one place to ask those questions and get the information back with links to the original data.
Yeah.
Eventually, Aura can go further than that. There is the idea of training it with, again, think of automated drawings. What do drawings look like? Depends on who you are and what kind of products you make and whatnot. Customers, there's 8 million customers in SOLIDWORKS that are making drawings. A lot of them are. You could train an AI to be really smart about creating drawings and laying them out if you could train it on all that customer data. Well, we're not going to just take it. So there will be opt-in, there will be different things. One of the things that they talked about is that the way they're setting it up to allow customers to be able to participate, to make the AI better for them, to share their data, is having it so that all the data that you are using, that Aura is using, is still siloed to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a competitor or someone else is going to be able to find that or have that come up in the results. Again, I'm not the person developing all that, but that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So Aura, you're going to hear about it if you didn't already. Right now, Aura is like a chat GPT sort of thing in SOLIDWORKS to help you find answers on technical information. In the future, it could be more beyond that. It could, again, work with the idea of automatically generating drawings and that kind of stuff along the way.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like a very powerful tool and a great learning tool, which is really special to have in SOLIDWORKS, especially for new users. I know we mentioned before you've been with SOLIDWORKS and GSC for 30 years now, so you're very well versed, but there are people out there that, they're learning and they are very well versed, but maybe you can advance your skills. So that's definitely a really powerful tool to have built in your everyday. So is there anything else before we wrap up that you want to cover, your job in general or 3D Experience World related?
Well, I would say that with 3D Experience World, now this was the 26th 3D Experience World. The first one was in 99. I've been to all of them. So their value continues to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that, if you haven't been to one for a little while, or if you're newer and you haven't been to one at all, I would highly suggest that you make plans to be at 3D Experience World next year, 2026, and it's going to be in Houston again.
Okay.
So last couple of years,
year,
they've kind of like done contracts with the venue for 2 years, I think. So in LA and Nashville and in Dallas and things like that. So next year is going to be in Houston. I would also say that after COVID, it's now been 5 years, more of the local SOLIDWORKS user groups are sort of getting back on their feet in terms of having meetings and things like that. So, and they've reestablished the swugin.org website. So before they went to like Meetup platform and it was all chopped up and different and hard for people to find where their local user group was. Now you can just go to swugin.org. They relaunched that website and it's got all of them listed, and the individual user group leaders can post right on those things too. So that I see that this year in 2025 there's going to be a resurgence in the Swugin in-person meetings, and some of the online ones too, but it's just going to be easier for the group to grow and for people to find it, especially new people. So I would definitely say that there's a lot of value in both of those things. Obviously, the local SWGN meetings are easier and pretty much no cost to attend for most people.
And speaking of local, can you plug the local one? We're in Germantown, Wisconsin, right now. So can you plug the local SWG for us?
In fact, the user group leader, Dave Mantle, was here today at our Total Solution event this morning. So it's called Smart Wisconsin. It stands for SOLIDWORKS Milwaukee Area Resource Team Wisconsin, back when they founded it like 20 plus years ago. You can Google Smart Wisconsin or Milwaukee SOLIDWORKS User Group, or go to swgn.org. Any of those places, they're even on LinkedIn, and you can find the details of that. They meet quarterly, as does there's a Masson group. There is a group over up in Eau Claire and La Crosse area. And there are a couple others that are a little dormant right now, but in Northeast Wisconsin and whatnot as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and we can link it in the comments down below, so watch out for that. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for sitting down with me today. It's been awesome to hear about all of your SOLIDWORKS experiences and your 3D Experience World's takeaways. So Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.